All right, here we go. Ring around gravity. This is how you get it set up. You're gonna need a hula hoop. This hula hoop is just going to provide some structure for our piece of fabric. This piece of fabric, though, is going to be used to represent space, because what scientists have learned is that actually space is something that can be affected by different types of masses, like our sun or the earth or the moon. So in order to see how space is affected by different masses, we're going to use this piece of elastic, stretchy cloth to represent space-time. That's right, space-time. This piece of fabric represents not only space, but time as well. And so we call this the space-time continuum. So as you can see, my hula hoop just got covered with this piece of elastic. And you can do this on the floor, or you could use your table. But basically, you just need to get your piece of fabric evenly spaced around the hula hoop. And we have to attach it to the hula hoop. So you can use these types of clamps here, or these clamps, or even these smaller clamps. Whatever you can use that's over on the counter, go ahead and use those and put them around the ring to attach this cloth nice and tight so it's taut across the hula hoop. All right, here we go. Okay, so as you finish, you need to make sure that you're pulling it nice and tight so that it's like the surface, or it's like the material on the top of a drum. It needs to be tight enough that it's at least flat to start with. Okay, so you're going to want to get it to the best that you can. Here's mine. Okay, so you're going to want to get it to the best that you can. Here's mine. You can see it's pretty flat. It's pretty good. If I put my hand under it, you can see it's kind of bouncy and stretchy. And so again, this represents the space-time continuum. Now, if it starts to kind of get a little bit saggy from holding onto it or putting different things on top of it, you can go ahead and tighten it back up. You always want to start with a nice tight surface here. But in my testing, I actually realized that we need to make a couple adjustments to our science notebook page. So once you have your hula hoop covered in the space-time, the fabric of space-time, let's then make some adjustments here to your data table. All right, so as you can see, we were going to do a golf ball. We were going to do a golf ball, a tennis ball, a big red ball, and then your choice. Now, to add some variety here, let's put a classroom rock there instead of a tennis ball to give us a little bit more variety. Now, let's also kind of consider what it's going to take to complete this data table. So if we think about putting a golf ball on this space-time continuum, we need to draw the shape of space. And so you can imagine that if there's a golf ball on it, that hula hoop is going to have a sideways profile that has a little divot in it, but probably not very big. And so I'm going to draw that little divot with my golf ball in there to represent the shape of space, aka the elastic. All right, so go ahead and fill out that data table. And then I want to show you just one other thing that you're going to need to know when you get ready for part C, sent to orbit. Okay, so I've got some marbles. You're going to need one marble and you're going to need one ruler. I've got multiple marbles just so that I can show you several examples of how to and how not to do this part. You can see I've got a ruler that has a little groove down the middle. That groove is going to help give me a path to send my marble into orbit. And so if I just drop the marble on this, you can see, well, that one didn't quite move. It wants to. The gravity is slowly getting there, and there it goes. It goes directly to the middle. It's back there. Okay, so it goes directly to the middle when I have the mass there in the middle. Now, if I place a marble on the ruler, you can see it rolls off the ruler, but it goes right down to the mass. So the trick here is to use the ruler at such an angle that you can actually get this object to go into orbit. Now, my ruler is flat because it's really tough for me to be able to hold the camera and the ruler. But most likely what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lift the ruler up to give some more speed to your marble. Also, you're going to want the ruler to be pointing outward and not inward towards the center of mass. And the goal here is to find the perfect angle so that when you drop your marble down the path, it doesn't just go in, but instead it goes around and it starts to orbit.